Hello, church. Drew here with Sally, and we just want to talk with you a little bit about helping efforts, rescue support efforts happening over in Western North Carolina, East Tennessee, and in lots of other places. We've all got the folks affected by Hurricane Helene on our hearts and minds. We've been praying for them. And some of you are starting to ask about what else we can do. And so I, I wanted to have this conversation with Sally because she can help us understand what's going on, what we can do, what we can't do yet, but we'll be able to do later. So, Sally, help us know how disaster recovery works and what these processes actually look like.
Yeah, so there are three phases after a disaster. I would say that we're still in the first phase right now, which is the rescue phase. This is that phase where we need to let their first responders do their work and we need to not inhibit them in doing their work. Many of these areas have been impacted so greatly that they don't have electricity or running water, and first responders and government entities need to get into those areas and help get those services restored first. And that's the greatest priority. And other people coming into those areas actually cause more harm than good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we'll move to what's called the relief phase, which is the second phase. And some communities are starting to do that now. Others, it'll take us several more days to do that. And there's a rule of tens within disaster relief where if your rescue phase takes 4 days, then the relief phase will take up to 40 days. And so that's an interesting statistic that bears true most of the time. The relief phase is where trained teams that are from different disaster response agencies, such as UMCOR, the United Methodist Committee on Relief, bring in ERTs, early response teams. And those teams that are trained are actually invited to come in. We don't go unless we are invited. And so we do have one team from St. Mark's that has already deployed to Valdosta. They've had a long time relationship with the United Methodist churches in that area. That's from St. Mark's, and they are headed down there today to respond. And they have a place to stay and meals that have already been planned, and those necessary things that need to be in place before a team goes to travel. And then the last phase, which often is not in the news but is the longest phase, is
Mm-hmm.
for however long the recovery is. So if it was 40 days, we multiply that times 10 again, and sometimes even longer for families and the survivors to get back to recovery. And that's actually where United Methodists are known the best, Drew. We provide long-term case management work in the biggest disasters, and we stay with families until the very last case is gotten to recovery and wholeness. And I can tell you this, some of you may remember the Waverly flood that happened several years ago in Tennessee. Court is still on the ground in Waverly, making sure every single family that experienced that flood gets back to healing and wholeness.
That's a really powerful witness. Is that our United Methodist Committee on Relief folks are typically very quietly the first ones in and then always the last ones out because we believe that the work just takes that long and we want to be part of that help and support. Um, we're in this rescue phase really still in North Carolina and Tennessee. Maybe parts of Georgia moved into the relief phase. We're a long way from the recovery phase, which I think is going to last a very long time. Right now, Sally, what can we be doing? We're all praying. That's very important. We want to continue that. But what else can we be doing as we think about our role in helping with the efforts?
The greatest thing that you can do is give a financial gift if you feel called to do so. UMCOR, United Methodist Committee on Relief, has a link that'll be in this video to U.S. disasters, and they will apply that money. And one of the things that I really love about United Methodist is we do that work equitably. And so we do that under a set of standards that have been developed nationally. And so we make sure that that money gets distributed in a way that is loving and caring and does no harm. And so that's really important. And then we're going to do something fun here at the church that you may or may not have ever done before, but we're going to be making some flood buckets. This is a great activity for families who are trying to teach maybe younger children about how to respond in disasters and want a tangible way to do that. And so we'll have those available in the south hallway. And it's a 5-gallon bucket and it has a list inside. Also, in this video will be a link. UMCOR's provided some really great videos to show how to put a flood bucket together, so you make sure you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will be taking those as a conference and providing those for families who need those. Actually, I know hundreds of buckets have already gone to East Tennessee and Western Carolina already from our conference. And what these buckets will do is actually resupply the stock, which is really important. So they're ready to go when the next disaster happens, because it will happen.
If you've never made a flood bucket, it's full of supplies that you might need to clean up after a flood.
Yes.
And it's stuff that, you kind of take for granted. But if you're in a flood situation, no power, no electricity, stores are closed, when somebody brings you a flood bucket, you can get started cleaning up your house, your business, whatever. And so it's a neat thing to offer. When we put these together, when you and your family put these together, you can also be praying for the folks who will be recipients of them, and in a sense that sends our prayers with this tangible gift that's very meaningful. So we have financial gifts right now. That's the most pressing need, financial gifts. You can give through UMCOR. We'll put that link in our description of this video or in the email communication that you get. And then we're going to go ahead and start making flood buckets. The buckets will be in the hallway Sunday, and you can get them and start getting that work done, and we'll get those to wherever they need to go. In the coming days and weeks, we likely will have a team going to help with, a trained team going to help with relief efforts, and then later with the ongoing recovery efforts. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to stay on top of information as it becomes available. Things are really still uncertain, especially over in the Appalachian area. We've heard some information from our Appalachian Service Project friends, and they are just trying to help make sure people are safe right now. But the devastation is pretty overwhelming over there, and that's another good ministry partner that we have a connection with. Anything else, Sally?
Well, I also want to mention that some of you may have family members that are impacted by this disaster, and your pastors want to know about that. If you have family in Florida or Georgia or South Carolina, North Carolina, East Tennessee, all those areas have been impacted. We just want to know about that. We want to be in prayer for them specifically by name. We know God answers those prayers, and we want to care for you as well. And so if you have a family member or a direct contact that you would like for us to be aware of and know about, we would love to know that. You can call Patsy in the church office, or let any of your pastors know, and we'll keep a list of those during this season as those families are recovering from this disaster.
That's very important, Sally. Thank you for reminding us of that. So, church, you know what's happening right now, what we're trying to do to organize our own response and our own efforts. Look again in your email or in the description of this video for links that would be helpful. And please do let us know if we can pray for folks. If you think of other things that we need to hear about or know about, we're happy to talk with you and just be in ministry together. We're all just trying to be the hands and feet of Jesus in this situation. It's a very overwhelming situation right now, and we just need to offer our prayers and our love and support. Thank you all very much.